Okay, same day, December 5th, 2022, going on to the next video here. So anyway, I went into my freezer up here in the kitchen, and it said on the bag, pork bones. It was $4. Don't ask me when I bought it. They were a little icicled, right? I couldn't tell, but assuming that I felt it, I can feel these are bones, so this must be pork bones, okay? Because it looked like it was in a bag. Okay, original bag. This is what my son bought me. I paid $16 for this. Oh, it's not very much. It's, I don't know what okay, so either or, I don't know. These are, I think they're called drumettes. That's where, you know, that's all it is. Now, I think I'm going to keep a couple out. Maybe make some rice or something later. But I'm going to use the majority of this to make the stock. Only I'm going to throw these bones in there as well. And so we're going to get the bone broth with the marrow to some degree. I mean, this is just whatever. And then, of course, we're going to get more gelatin with the actual chicken itself, right? Because that's where the gelatin comes from, is from the meat itself. Okay, so hold on. Okay, do you see what I mean? This is just one pumpkin. Now, interesting how when... Where am I? Huh. Interesting when... these were just going to get smashed up. They were being ignored and freezing outside. Right? And, so I said, like, you know, like, asked, what you guys are doing with those pumpkins? And Marina said, well, we're going to, I was out talking to Andre about just, what are we going to do with them? Smash them up. I'm like, oh, well, how about maybe I, turn them into pumpkin puree and you can make some pumpkin pies. Oh, yeah. I said, well, you know, I make pumpkin soup. I said, yeah. So, anyway, I had to ask my son to, you know, about that pot this morning, right? And he, going on, I said something about these pumpkins. He goes, oh, it isn't. Because I said, well, you know, it's going to take up freezer space. I'll bag them up. I'll do the work, right? I'll puree, whatever. I'll get them in 2-cup bags, and I'll have to put them into your freezer. Whatever. But just make sure that we have enough for pumpkin pie. Well, there you go. Or not pumpkin pie, pumpkin soup. That's more than enough for pumpkin soup. They can cut that in half, freeze the other half, right? Well, I'll deal with this, and then there's yet another one that's quite large, right? So I might end up dehydrating some of this because I already have pumpkin bagged up in probably the big freezer that I have. You know, because when do I have time to make pumpkin pie when I'm doing this kind of stuff? But I create the work for myself. I do it to myself. But at the end of the day, when those raisins come and I don't have to deal with this anymore too much, oh, I'm going to have pumpkin pie, people. And I'm going to have raisin pie, too. And I'm going to have raisin pie with mulberries. So, you know, the only problem is I can't freaking see very well. Today's kind of a bad day. Everything's just glaring. Everything's just bouncing off of shit, right? It's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Now I'm looking for a cutting board. Just go slow, you'll get through it. So I'm going to get this ready to start steaming. And then, because I took those pork bones out, right, of the fridge up here, I might be able to, honestly, and I'm gonna try this, people, because I'm looking for different food groups for these drinks. And I mean, obviously, when you cook pumpkin, you're losing your vitamin C a bit, and you're losing your vitamin A because you're cooking it, right? But I wouldn't give Amari straight up raw pumpkin juice unless, of course, it was like, you know, the little tiny ones that are apparently very, very sweet, and you know, he's old enough. I don't think I'd have to pasteurize, right? You know what I'm saying? And even then, I mean, pasteurizing just goes up to 190, and it's only for a few minutes. So, you know, if I was to go into the route of fresh pumpkin juice, I'd still lean more towards pasteurizing it before I'd give it to Amari or incorporate it. But, you know, so whatever. This is fine. So once I get my liquid, I'm going to taste it. And I'm going to see if maybe I can put them in pint-sized jars and just, you know, we'll see. Have a few of them anyway. I don't have no room in my freezer. That's another reason why I'm trying to, like, take out things. So that's the bones, those pork and chicken, to make a good broth will be fine, right? And it's going to be a bone broth. More than anything, it's going to be a bone broth. I'll be cooking that for till tomorrow anyway, at least, if not longer, right? We'll see. We'll see. Because the meat will be done by tomorrow. Well, it'll be done by tonight. But I'm just going to let it stew and seep and everything. And then we'll check it tomorrow. And if I want, I can always take the meat out. Because that's a fair amount of chicken legs, right? I only left out 8 to make something maybe later after the fact, right? In terms of, you know, rice and chicken with whatever. But, you know, I've been up since, like, what, 1:30 this morning. And it's 10:30 now. Do you see how those hours creep up on me? Oh, it's only 10:30. Why are you tired? You shouldn't be tired. Well, maybe it's because you got up at 7 or 8, maybe 6, but I got up at 1:30. So now I have to find a knife to peel it. I'm just going to just keep going at it, people. Alright. And then, yeah, I'm going to probably dehydrate some of this after it's been softened up a bit. Just to save on that freezer space. Right? The point was, I just didn't want these pumpkins to go to waste. You know, my son says, well, we have different values. Why do you expect me to have the same values as you? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, I don't think my values are necessarily bad values. Not that I push values on you, but if you want to consider what I'm doing here as a value, you know, like to have values, right? Principles, you know, a set of standards, that kind of thing. You know, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this. Oh, I know why, because you can just simply go off and buy more. Easy for you to jump into the vehicle and go to Costco's and buy pumpkin, but only when it's in season, unless, of course, you buy pureed pumpkin in a can. In this situation, it will be in the freezer already done for you, to which it's already there. I just don't want to see this go to waste, especially when I can incorporate pumpkin into Amari's drinks. So, you know, depending on how it works, I don't think it has a lot of calories. Yeah, it doesn't, but either or. Hold on. Okay, do you see this container here? This has that good salt. It's not Himalayan salt, pink salt, but it's the other one. But what happened was, it was in one of these things over there, or some kind of container anyway, over there, and somebody came along and pushed something and broke the glass, right? So I ended up salvaging as much as I could. But before I put it in the food, what I'm going to do to make sure I didn't miss anything, you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And then I'm just going to run some cold water over that so it dissolves. And if there's any glass in there, to which I don't think there is, but I want to be sure, the strainer will catch it. And then you just pour your water with the salt into your whatever you're cooking, right? Okay, people, I just got some bad news, like sad news, very, very, very sad. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. So anyway, I think I'm going to, when you steam it, you know how that works. You retain more of the nutrients in the food itself. However, pumpkin is very moist. Now, there's only about that much liquid at the bottom of this, because I know I've done this before, right? By the time I'm done, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not up to here, okay? As a matter of fact, I got to keep an eye on it. And then, like I said, I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to see if I can freeze some for what I'm working on with the Mari, okay? Okay, so here, let's talk about Tiffany Draper for a minute, because apparently one of my subscribers who came onto my channel because of Tiffany, back in the day when Shimei died, there was only 3 people who stepped up to the plate. Tiffany Draper stepped up to the plate first. And then somehow Tommy, I can't, Kilamity, I could never say it. But anyway, Tommy got wind of Shimei and somehow snagged into me. I can't remember how that worked.
Play.
Just hold on a minute.
Read a few comments here from, okay, this is from the family. We had plans, but God called you home. Such a sweet angel. Yesterday, I lost my best friend, my lady, my ace, my baby sister. I don't know all the details just yet. It hit extra hard, so unexpected, so young. The youngest of us. First to all of us and the Draper family, I love you till the end of time. Sister for life. It's not feel the same without you here. And that was 3 days ago. Okay, we don't know how she died yet, okay? This is 2 days ago.
Okay, I was having a hard time turning off that video. I just, on YouTube, Google Tiffany Draper dies, right? Now, let me just stay focused on this for a minute, okay? I know she was a very young woman, like young, right? And for whatever reason, somehow, some way, she reached out to me because of Shimei, okay? And she did a couple of interviews. And then those videos somehow got buried. And I was like really, really disappointed when they disappeared, right? She was saying something about YouTube or whoever was harassing her. And I think she said she put them on private. At one point where they were, her channel got striked. And anyway, she reassured me that they were still on the server, they were still on YouTube, but, you know, this is what was happening, people. Tiffany Draper was helping me. Julian's sister, Tamika Johnson, started stalking her. Okay, that's what happened, right? Started tagging her name in her little fucking boo-boo videos, and, you know, sending her text messages and all this other shit, okay? And, I mean, she wasn't up for that, right? So maybe that's why she put them on private, or maybe, who knows? I just know that she reassured me that the videos were still on her server and that she was still in support of justice for Shimei. But her hands were tied. And so, okay, whatever. Same thing with Tommy, right? Tommy did a whole bunch of videos. Well, not a whole bunch, but he did 2 or 3 of them, right? Recorded and whatever, and he had them on his channel and I think Facebook or whatever, right? He talked to me on the phone. And so anyway, but again, Julian's sister, because he was helping me, started to attack him. Started stalking him. He was telling me on the phone, this bitch stalking me like mad, like crazy. She keeps sending me text messages and just the whole 9 yards, coming in with fake user accounts, just the whole freaking 9 yards. So he ended up pulling back, Okay, for whatever reason, he pulled back, and I think he removed his videos too. Yep. And then Truth for Reality at some point said he was cruising the internet, because I remember him saying this. He was cruising the internet, and through his travels, however, Andre, turn that down. Got louder as soon as I started talking. Through his travels, he came across randomly, I guess, to my channel at the height of what was going on with Shimei and her death. And so then he snagged into me and started asking me questions and blah, 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 blah. He ended up doing a video, and then he did another video. We still converse back and forth. I'm pretty sure he's noticed the personality change in me in terms of I'm much more, I guess you could say, bitter, scornful, you know, that type of thing, in terms of the whole situation around Shimei and how it was treated, and how our government, even to this day, is trying to blow it off like it's nothing, but yet send me these drinks for Amari, right, saying that they're helping me, and they want to put him on this for fucking life. Okay. In terms of their help. We know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Is anyone going to pick up after the fact when I can't do it anymore? I don't know. Okay, so either or. Truth for Reality told me that he's changing his game, he's upping the ante, he's becoming more professional, and that the 2 videos that are online right now at some point will be archived and taken off of the internet. And because he's talking about something else, like some documentary or something. I haven't seen it yet. I don't push him on it. If he doesn't want to do it, so be it. It is what it is, right? I will do what I can do when I can do it. That's just the way it is, okay? Because for all 3 of them, I am very grateful that all 3 stepped up to the plate to help me to get Shimei's story out. Tiffany Draper was the first one. She was a young woman, like any other young woman in the world, trying to find her way. Okay? Now, I know she was struggling, I'm pretty sure, people, with diabetes, and I think she had type 1, where she needed insulin. I think so. I can't be 100% because I haven't thought about Tiffany for a long time, but I know, I'm pretty sure she had diabetes, and I think she was on insulin because I remember her talking about it and having to, control her food intake in terms of not spiking that blood sugar. I guess that's what that is, right? So, how convenient that I should be doing this, thinking about blood sugar, talking about mulberries and how it actually lowers the blood sugar, how I'm talking about rye kernels to make rye bread, so that it actually lowers the blood sugar, right? Because there are foods that you can eat, I guess, in combination with other foods that help to regulate your blood sugar, whether it's type 1 or type 2, but diabetes, or whether it's just everyday whatever, to prevent it from occurring, right? So I'm sorry, Tiffany, I couldn't get it together fast enough, because whatever I get put together, I am honestly thinking, like, come on, people, there's only so much I can do. Oftentimes I say I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I only get a third done. You know what I'm saying? So it's all in just, I don't want to say baby steps, but I mean, I think it would be really great if over the next course of the year, right? And maybe we'll do this in memory of Tiffany Draper, especially if she died as a result to complications to her diabetes, and that's a given that she had that. I'm probably, oh God, 90% sure that she had it, right? And I know she had the more severe kind because she was concerned about her diet, right? So maybe with the sign of the times, how I fell through the cracks with my eyes, people, right? Phoning up clinics. Well, we can't see you. No doctor wants to take new patients. Well, we can't see you because you won't wear a mask. Well, we can't see you because we're just not going to call you back. They didn't need to take new patients, people, because the government was giving them money to to pay their bills. As they were closing down unessential businesses like restaurants and those kind of things, bookstores and blah, 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 right? They were propping up the healthcare system by paying off the doctors to keep the door open, but they put in so many restrictions that doctors didn't really need to go to the office, never mind take new patients, never mind pass on a referral, especially when you've got bad doctors telling you to take them to court because you're fighting for justice for your daughters, right? Okay, let's stay focused on Tiffany. So anyway, you know, every now and then I chat with Tiffany and blah, blah, blah. And of course, you know, anytime I do all these things with people, I talk about the nonprofit, you know. Latrice Allen wasn't the only person that I approached, but Latrice Allen is the only person that I sent all that stuff out to, except for that Karama, or whatever his name was, that was with, he used to be a news reporter, a black guy. He was a news reporter for CNN. He didn't like it because he thought they were racist, so he went off and created his own little gig and started to educate black people to build wealth for themselves. But at the end of the day, that dude himself was kind of racist because none of them wanted to listen to me about anything to do with the foundation because they were off doing their own thing. So, okay, whatever. So there were times when I would, you know, go through message with Tiffany talking about the foundation and if maybe she could, you know, promote it, right? You know, right? The only reason she said that she didn't want to do it is not that she didn't like the idea or that she didn't believe in it. She didn't like the riff-raff that the internet brought when you were fundraising for money for a cause, because she had already done that in the past, helped some other people or did something that was basically charity work. And she got a whole lot of freaking flack for it, so much so that she said never again. What am I supposed to say? Right? I can respect that. It's not easy, right? People, you know, as soon as money, I don't care if it's $1, $10, $1,000, $100,000, you know, it's just, they come out with the green-eyed monster. Well, where's that $10? Like, remember I told you that little kid thing that I had, and that mother came, grabbed the money, and I'm like, she's going so fast, I grabbed the money, and she was lying because she folded over $10. Oh, you stealing $10 from kids. Right? Like, if you needed $10, you gotta just ask me. But the thing is, people oftentimes steal, just not because they need it, people. They steal because it's an addiction to steal. It's the rush. It's like turning on that tap before they cook up their dope and shoot it up their arms. They get high just on turning the tap on and listening to the water run. Right? The injection of the drug is secondary to the initial high, okay? Well, it's the same thing with thieves. They don't steal necessarily because they need it. They steal it because it makes them feel empowered in their own lives where they feel lacking. It makes them feel like they're in control of something, and that's why they do it over and over and over again and become perpetual thieves to which you can never ever trust. Okay. Well, it's the same thing with money. You know, if you got a little bit of money, people started accusing you of this and accusing you of that and accusing, but they expect you to dig into your pocket and fork out your own money so that they can stand there and still accuse you of something. So she didn't want to get on that bandwagon, and I respected that. She explained it to me in black and white, you know, and I had to let it go, right? And so, you know, we know that the trademark, not the concept, but the trademark is sliding off to the wayside because it's so difficult to connect with people. So anyway, she's passed away, and I'm really sad for her family because I know what that feels like in terms of a young person, in terms of a mother losing their daughter, or a father. I'm not a father, but I've done the father role, right, where I've lost a daughter. I know how it affects the siblings, you know, because I have my own kids. I know how it affects the immediate friends, to the young person who died, because I went through that with Shimei a lot. Not so much with Sierra, because her friends are more street people of different ages, and of course I don't come into contact with them very much. But that's not to say that it didn't disturb them when they found out that Sierra died, because, you know, most people don't want to die. Most people don't want other people to die. There's only a small portion of the population that plot and scheme and try and figure out how to murder somebody. Okay? We've got our serial killers that do that. We've got our black widows that do that, right? Women that kill their husbands and associates and that type of thing, right? You know, we've got boyfriends that murder their wives or their girlfriends because of jealousy and control. Again, it boils down to control. And then we've just got complete psychopaths that get off on it, right? And think it's funny. Literally think it's fucking funny. And they're going to just go breeze through life and never get caught. But it's an addiction. So that pretty much guarantees that they'll do it again and again and again until eventually they either die off and nobody finds out about it, or they get caught. Either or. I hope she wasn't murdered. Like, I really do hope. I don't know why she died. I just found this out like 10 minutes ago, right before I pretty much turned on the camera. And I feel like I should give her a thumbs up, like a thank you, like a public thank you for being there for my family in our time of despair, right? And for giving Shimei a voice. Yeah, for sure. You know, over the years, I've had people approach me on Tiffany, oh, she's this and oh, she's that. And I've pretty much always stood by her and said, well, yeah, maybe that's what you think. But at the end of the day, she's been there for me. You know, I was a little upset that those videos disappeared and never popped back up. And but at the end of the day, I know how Julian's sister is. Like, if anyone steps up to the plate to help me, I can almost guarantee you within a month or two, it won't be long before that individual is stalking whoever is trying to help me, because she figures she can run them off. And she did. She was successful. She basically run off Tiffany, she run off Tommy, and she kind of silenced Truth for Reality for a long time anyway. Whether he pops back up on the scene, I don't know. But this isn't about Truth for Reality. This is about Tiffany right now. And, like, if it has anything to do with diabetes, people, like, honest to God, with the way the economy is going right now, and, like, I try and stay in the loop, it gets kind of depressing. But, I plug into these boots on the ground where there's food shortage, like those food deserts from different states coming in, so-and-so, Aldi's and Walmart, and apparently Costco is going through some changes now, and Sam's Club, and like, we don't even have an Aldi's or a Sam's Club out here, but I'm listening, right, to see how people in Pennsylvania are being affected, and how they're being affected in Idaho, and in Texas, and I'm looking for the wider food desert, that kind of thing, and through that process, though, I'm also hearing that hospitals are falling apart. Not all. I guess it really depends on the geographical area that you live in. But many of them are falling through the cracks because, just as we're losing supplies over here and supplies over there, we're also losing supplies within our healthcare system, where the workers themselves don't have access to saline. They don't have access to Latakin. Latakin? I guess that's the local freezing agent, I think it's called. Anyway, they don't have access to diabetes medication. I've heard that already, people. Amoxicillin, a pill like amoxicillin, is in very short supply. And then, of course, you've got your over-the-counter medication. And these are things that are just being mentioned, right? So, for all we know, maybe she couldn't get her insulin, people, if that's what it was. If she's a type 2 diabetic and she couldn't get her insulin because of the effery that's going on in the world right now, just like I couldn't get a referral. Oh, easy for you to say, I just fell through the cracks. Well, it was completely unnecessary. I was trying well after my doctor told me to go take him to court. And phone, you know, okay, so it's not about me. It's not about me in terms of I fell through the cracks, but I can relate to it. You see, that's the thing. So, you know, if she couldn't get her medication because of the shenanigans of what our reptilian representatives are putting upon human beings, or maybe they're all robots by now, who knows? Because they're definitely not human, okay? Humans don't do this to humans unless they're complete psychopaths. And yeah, we got psychopaths running around, but not through each and every parliament building and municipality, mayor, council, you know, that type of thing. If she died from not getting insulin because there was none to be found,
I'm alright, sleeping.
okay,
Just
then,
wanna let you know.
yeah, okay, then, you know, there needs to be justice for Tiffany. Yeah, because lots of people are falling through the cracks. Lots and lots and lots in so many different ways. So my condolences go out to the family, not that they'll ever see this video. But definitely to her friends and her supporters. Because I know she had a very large following. Yeah, and she had the gift of the gab. And she was a trooper, right? You know what I mean? And she stepped outside of the box. You know, in terms of reaching out, asking me what happened, wanting to tell the story. I don't think it was because she was looking for views, people. No. Maybe a little bit. But, you know, it was a story. It was a news story. It was, you know, it's okay. That's what commenters do. They tell what's going on out there. She didn't say, oh, well, gee, you know, yeah, yeah. I never got that feel from her. No. Never got that feel from her. I really do believe she was really genuine about wanting to know the truth. She just didn't expect to be gang stalked to the degree that she was being gang stalked around digging for that truth. Right? And being that I'm in a different country, you know, it wasn't worth the stress when she had her own issues, you know, health issues or whatever issues she had going on. But she never turned her back on me, okay? If she was alive and I wanted to send her a note, because I'm actually friends with her on Facebook, unless that's been removed by Facebook or something, I don't know. But if she was alive, you know, if I had to reach out to her and say something, there, you know, at some point she'd probably answer me. How you doing? Whatever. At some point, I wouldn't say probably. At some point she would. At some point. Right? So, oh boy, I got scared there for a minute. I thought maybe I'd put this on. And I didn't move the pot. Alright, you see, when you can't see very well, that is, things like that can happen. So now, I'm just going to cook this up. I'm thinking, speaking of rabbits, did you do the rabbits? Did you give them water? Take it out. They need it earlier during the day.
It still has that water from yesterday, so.
Okay, that's fine. Because I already have pumpkin frozen in bags somewhere. I'm pretty sure I think I know where they are. I think I'm just going to dehydrate the majority of this. Yeah, because then this way, I think I might even have some already over there. I'm going through my cupboards. I'm going to gather up all my powders. Powders over there. more milk products over there. We've got Amari's products over here. You get my point, right? But I'm going to dehydrate because you get more in the jar. It takes up less space, right? And it's apparently is very easy to reconstitute with water, right? And it makes great pumpkin pies. So, or you could put it in anything you want for that matter. So that's probably what I'm going to do because I really don't have freezer space. I'm trying to remove things from my freezer outside of maybe this pumpkin juice, right? I'm going to see. So we're going to come back with that, okay? After it's cooked, we're going to taste it. I'm going to see if we like it. And then if we like it, I'll make a little bit of space up there for pint-sized jars so that when I'm working with Amari's drinks, I can just take one out, put it in, right? And that will be more of the vegetable-based one versus the fruit one, right? I don't know. Okay.
I'm not perfect.
Oh yeah, I took a nap after I put my drops on in the afternoon.
That's a Christian thing.
Back at it here.
It saddens me.
I'm listening to other people with their eulogies with Tiffany Draper, right? Right, she impacted a lot of people actually.
Or in life, unless you mess with my children.
Right. She got a hold of me, and I'm in Canada, right?
I can't even say that.
And she
I have that much faith.
That I would
got other Americans interested in Shimei's story, that's for sure.
Definitely not her.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
don't care
there are
to me is there's a lot of people on
there are
YouTube
subscribers
that discusses
on YouTube that subscribe to my channel because of Tiffany and still watch my videos today. That's how I found out that Tiffany died.
like why would you
One of
even
Tiffany's
honor
supporters
them? Don't
emailed me and let me know.
discuss them.
And told me that if it wouldn't have been for Tiffany,
Sure, Debbie, let me go through.
she would never have known about my videos or about Shimei and just, you know, the story of everything, right?
Oh,
Look, Daddy, it's okay. Yeah, I
So-
know it. I know it. The
but
puppets.
thank you for letting me up. I just,
You're welcome.
you know.
We're gonna go through. I'm gonna go real quick to YouTube. I'm gonna see.
You're going to see how much liquid
I'm gonna go back.
I get out of
to
this
her pillow
pumpkin.
videos and
It was her laugh for me. I loved her laugh. She was silly.
Yeah, she had a
her videos and see
Great
if there's a
laugh.
short one that we can watch real quick about
Yeah,
her
they-
mellow reactions. Her mellow reactions were my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Alright, videos. Let's see here.
But I thank you for letting me up, you guys.
Oh, you're
Coming
welcome.
up.
I'm just dehydrating this.
It's sad right now, so I'll probably get down. But thank you so much.
I
for
when I
letting me
had
up.
them
I
growing in
appreciate
my
it.
yard,
Okay.
I
No
did them.
problem. Thank you so much for coming up, sweetheart. We appreciate it.
I think I dehydrated some too, so I'm going to look for the container.
My new dog won't get from under me.
I'm so tired. I got all those mulberries second the batch
Okay,
there
here's a
in the
4
bowl.
minute one. Or no, let's do
Grind
this
them
one.
up,
She
put
was
them in
drinking.
jars.
Mello was drinking. Let's see what Tiffany had to say on this. Hold
She was so pretty. She was so beautiful young lady.
They were,
on. Hey now, y'all gonna go to timeout? Hey, hey,
I don't know if
timeout. Let's go.
you can
Let's go.
can
That's the little puppy making
pumpkin
that
juice.
daggone noise. Hey, good boy. Timeout.
For what it's worth, I won't do it though.
She gonna end up getting.
I might
crazy
try and
thinking
freeze
you
a couple
being serious.
jars.
I
I'll have
said
to taste it
timeout.
first.
Now, don't hit me back. I said stop. How you gonna get a spanking and you gonna hit me back? Come on.
I don't know who these
Don't.
people are.
You bet.
I've never,
Girl, he is steady sitting
not that
there.
I know who anybody is on
I'm trying to
YouTube,
grab
but
him and he's hitting me.
I don't know
Come
these
here.
women with their channels because I just Googled Tiffany Draper
Move.
and these are the videos that are coming up in relation to people talking
Play
about
pen for a
her
minute,
death,
huh? Let me
right?
get you some toys to play with. Hold on. You find the ball.
Now we're gonna taste it.
You know?
Want to play with
See?
some ball?
I was going crazy. most fat man you ever faced.
There you go. I know, Mommy. I gave her your
You
ball.
know, it's kind
Here,
of
you want
good.
this other
It's
ball?
sweet.
That's the only ball she plays
And it's
with.
mild.
You want this one? Get it.
And it has some sort of
Get it, Daddy.
vitamin content in it. That's why I'm reluctant to throw it away.
No. Okay, I play with the ball, Mama. Here.
But I'm short on freezer space, people. So I don't know. Look how much. And I still got another pumpkin to go.
No, Diablo. Quit moving that around.
That's a lot. That's like 4 pints, if not more.
Ow, girl.
Alright, hold on.
I remember I went to see
Okay,
somebody,
so
and she was drinking
I actually really like this, but again, it boils down to freezer space here. So these jars aren't necessarily good because of the type of rim.
All right, y'all got
Because
that?
as the water
That,
freezes, obviously it goes up and it has the potential of cracking the jars. So if you're going to freeze things in the freezer in a jar, the wide mouth is the best. But I gave it a little extra head space down here, so if it rises up, hopefully it doesn't crack, right? And then I use just old lids
Can y'all see it?
that's been pre-used. I clean them and again try and label them before they go into the freezer, because you know, once they're frozen it's kind of hard to write on them. I'm gonna see, I just bought jars, but they're downstairs. So this I was able to gather up, so hold on a minute. Okay, so I had to put this screw band on in order to get it up on the shelf, but once it's in the shelf I'm gonna loosen it, okay? Because as this rises, you know, you want to make sure that it can push past the lid if it needs to. But again, these jars like this, you know, it's once it starts freezing in here, it's a hit and miss. So the more you can use a wide mouth, the better, right? I have plastic containers downstairs someplace, but again, you know, I'd have to go digging for them, and I'd have to make room in the freezer. So hold on a minute. Okay, so I like this idea better. Now I had a whole bunch more, but I don't know where they are. Right? So I think I got 2 more containers here. So I think I'm going to take out of the jars because, you know, jars are expensive, right? That should be enough head space for it to rise up. And I can't afford to be having my jars crack on me right now. If it was a wide mouth, then I'd feel a little more comfortable with it, but it's a regular mouth, and I just know how these things react, right? So hold on. See, I already got frozen pumpkin. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, and I have a whole bunch downstairs. So, I am managing to use these, what are those things called? You know, like the cottage cheese containers, yogurt containers. They're actually working out pretty good, and I like the quantity amount. And then as I use these things, right, and they're food grade too, right? So as I use these things, you know, save this kind of stuff and use it. Now I do have more of those containers, but whatever, I've misplaced it. So hold on a minute.
That ain't between me and you don't.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna just keep this video short and pretty much just leave it as in memory of Tiffany Draper. You know,
they ain't gonna have to lie about nothing. But
right?
They can tell you that I really do care a lot about you guys.
Just
like seriously.
She helped me. You know, with Shemaine.
And it does hurt
right?
that I haven't been as live.
She gave
as
it a fair
I
shake,
should,
people. Right?
Everybody understands my health is.
Like I said, I was a little disappointed when she took down the videos,
I've been
or
okay for the past 2 days.
the videos got put on private or whatever. But she was getting gang stalked a lot by Julian's sister.
I love you too, baby.
Tommy will confirm that's what Julian's sister was doing to him.
It can be
And,
depressing.
you know, she was stalking Truth for Reality. And anytime anybody on YouTube or wherever wants to help me that girl comes out of the freaking woodwork and starts stalking them to scare them away so they don't help me to get the word out. Now,
It is straight by their both like that both alive.
I'm listening to other people, right?
Somebody or whatever.
Nobody really knows what happened to Tiffany at this point.
Let's just separate for a minute, but I love
But I
you. You
guess
just
the
never
coroner
know.
is
You
involved.
never know. That could be the last
So
time.
anytime a coroner
You
is
don't want the
involved,
last time to be an
it
argument.
becomes a quote-unquote
And when I
suspicious
found out about
death.
Tiff, I instantly got a
I
hold
don't
of
think
Ella.
they can use
And I told her I
fentanyl
loved her.
as the excuse
And,
that she killed
you know,
herself.
I will talk to
You
her
know,
in a couple
let's
days
just move on because that's
about what
the
I
old
want her to
okey
think about
dokey.
these next couple days.
Right.
It's telling me the full truth.
They'll
No matter
probably blame the
what it is.
diabetes, unless,
That's
of
the
course,
only thing that's gonna
she was
help us.
attacked or something and it was
You know?
apparent.
So
And even
just
then,
be kind
you
to
know,
each other.
we've got dirty
On top
cops
though,
out there that like to cover up murder. I'm not
I
saying
love
she
you
was
too,
murdered,
baby.
but,
Guys, the
you know, it's hard to say
supporters
yet.
sent me a pair of wireless
However,
headphones, guys.
now this is YouTube, so of course nobody's talking about it from what I can hear.
But it connects with my computer. I
They're
don't
not
know
talking
now
about the jab
they died, 'cause I'm
and
just
this
so used to
sudden
earlier.
death syndrome
But that was really nice.
that's
of her. Thank you
happening
so much. If
across the world
I think I already told you thank you before, but
for no reason other than it's just happening, and our the people who promote the propaganda are trying to normalize it,
I'm like, wait a minute.
desensitize us to it, like with the fentanyl, right? Right? Oh, it's just an addict. Who cares if they die? Right? You know, they shouldn't have been doing drugs. They got what they wanted. They did it to themselves. They were depressed. Okay? Well, it's the same kind of thing with this sudden death syndrome where, you know, our governments, they're not taking it serious, people.
Always say I love you.
They're trying to normalize it so that we turn our heads and hope that it doesn't happen to us. Okay? Now, I can't get into the logistics, not that I know what the logistics are around the jab on YouTube, because we know why, right? Not trying to talk in code or any of that crap. But Tiffany Draper had a compromised immune system with the diabetes, okay?
Debbie J, I know you've been wanting
And
to send me something
you know, like
for
I said,
quite some time.
I'm
For
aware
actually
that she
a couple
struggled
years.
with it,
Because you want my P.O.
and
boxes. Why don't you get a hold of me and we'll talk?
you know,
Just get a hold of me. Either
I'm
on-
gonna have to maybe
I
do a
got
bit
it.
shoot
Go to
exclusive
Goddess,
at some
baby.
point in the
Where you
future
been at?
to really talk about my feelings in relations to this
That's my
inoculation
baby right
that our
there.
governments are trying to
You hear
continue
about
to,
Tiffany, baby?
you know, normalize as if it's the
You
cool
hear
thing
about
to do
Tiffany? She passed
while our
away.
friends are dropping dead around us, okay? And that's supposed to be normal. It's just the sign of the times. Somehow it's related to the weather, which in my opinion is a bunch of crock, okay? So, you know, let's just say we're not going to take that
Well,
off
you're
the table
definitely not
yet,
kicked out of the
okay?
streets here with us.
Because
I know that doesn't make a huge difference. But
I
am
think she
so
got
sorry,
inoculated.
sweetheart.
I think
I
she
pray
did
that God makes a way
because
for
she was
you, and
pressured
He will.
with that. Well,
just gotta
you
do
have
the
a
work on your
compromised
end.
immune system,
But
you know,
have
and
definitely
so, you know,
definitely got support.
whether it
system,
played a
okay?
role
Even
in
if all we can do is talk,
instigating the
I
diabetes,
don't wish that upon anybody.
again, I can't talk on YouTube, people,
What does she mean?
because I had another something to say, but as soon as I start saying it, I'll get a strike.
America is
So
not
what does
people
that
hype
tell
it up
you?
to be, I'll tell you
Okay, what does that tell you? Where is the
that. I mean, it's
justice
better than
for
most
Tiffany
third
Draper
world
if you
countries,
can't
know?
talk about the
But I'm
things
just saying, like,
that may have caused her
America
death?
is
Do you understand
all
what
about
I'm saying here?
politicians. It's all they care about. Is
Okay? Or anybody's death, for that matter. Right? Oh, but we can talk about fentanyl and people killing themselves one after another, after another, after another, because they were depressed or it was an accident. That's not a problem because everybody accepts that narrative as normal because they've been desensitized to the numbers of death, okay? To which it's like 100,000 a year directly related to fentanyl in the United States of America. right? Up here, it's more than double what it's been in the past every year now.
Ma'am,
And it's just,
they don't want to hear
okay,
you barking.
Tiffany got the word out about Shimei. She was the first one
Hey, go
to
to
reach
Goddess. We
out
got
to me.
2 dogs. Our old lady Holly.
I do believe that she was sincere.
And so then my
I do
husband
believe
brought
that her
in 2
hands were
puppies.
tied when it related to the foundation, and she couldn't deal with the stress, with the nitpicking when it relates to money.
The baby.
Because I know how that works. Right? You know. And
Oh, and go to Goddess. I got
anytime a
TikTok, baby.
naysayer came across
If
and,
anybody
you
in
know,
here has the
basically
link,
said
you
something
drop
to
the
me
link
in a
for
negative
follow
light,
my TikTok. I'll start
you know,
doing reactions.
I reminded them
Within a
that
little
she
while,
was the
but
first one to
I put a
help
couple
me.
pictures,
And she
on
did,
my
right?
TikTok of myself.
I didn't really like it when she was
I
getting
did a
into
trip with my
that, picking
daughter a
on that
long time
other
ago. That's what
disabled
I'm about, but
woman.
It's on there.
But then that's just me, people. You know how I am with that.
Playing with the ball for the first time.
Quack, 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 quack. I can't get, I'm too,
I can figure out what song
you know, I'm
to
too
put.
serious, right?
That dog song matched perfectly
But
with it. So make sure you guys follow me.
you know, it takes all kinds to make a world. So,
on TikTok.
you know,
That way
who
we
am I to
can
judge?
start doing our
I just stopped
reactions.
watching it because, you know, I
that
couldn't
good
understand it. I couldn't really
Man, my hand
wrap
is
my
full
head
on
around
Baby
it.
Beauty
And
now 'cause he went to
after a
work.
while, I
Thank
just
you,
gave
everybody.
up, right? And, but I've never forgotten her, and I've never been, you know, ungrateful that she's, you know, she did what she did, right, people? My thing now
I
is,
did. I have the mother jump
you
on
know,
my head, and then I got another one.
is she gonna need justice here?
Litter.
And if she's going to need justice, who's going to stand up and fight for her? Right? Because I'm very suspicious. Sierra was 32 when Sierra was lured to her death, being told that she was going to die because she was an addict. They didn't help her to stop being an addict. They just threw her out on the streets and left her out there.
But publicly, she's not.
They isolated her in jail, told her that she could come home because she was so-called quote-unquote clean, knowing that they were lying to her. She'd come home, Mom, I've been in jail, can I come in and, like, live, right? And I'm like, Sierra, I can't, because as soon as the social workers get wind of that crap, you know what's going to happen. Oh, jeez, people. Just a lot of mind effery, okay? Seriously, you know, there's a lot of predators that are employed by the government, okay? And the government itself are predators. Can't you see that with Uncle John's story? Okay? You can see it with Shimei's story. You can see it with the Mari's story. You can see it with Andre's story. You can see it with Sierra's story. You don't think that somehow Tiffany Draper didn't fall into that mix somehow, some way? What if she couldn't get her diabetes medication because the United States American government is so messed up that it made it happen like that way? Because they don't care about the numbers of people dying, the people that were born in the United States of America, because they're too busy with their open borders, having millions and millions and millions of who knows what coming through, taking over the country.
So I talked to her this morning and I
Right?
told her,
We've lost another soldier here. We've lost another warrior here. That's the way I see it, people.
We don't yell, nothing like that. I just want the truth about the whole
Okay.
situation. Because I've got screenshots. Ashley showed me that they have been
It
talking
wasn't an
about,
accident.
you know, there's a bunch of different things, and I just want to know why.
It's
she
never
did
an
what she
accident.
did and admit that she
And
did,
if it
you
is,
know? I mean,
it's
a
as
lot of
plain
times
as freaking
people,
day. Do we honestly believe it was an accident when Mo fell off the freaking 30-story building?
too deep
Right?
with other stuff.
No,
and
that
it
was not an
involved
accident,
us
people.
because they found out she was my mod, and then they
Other
assumed
people
that I
don't
had
even
something
think
to
it
do
was an
with
accident, people.
So, no, that's not gonna happen. But
The accident is that we put too much emphasis and trust in the wrong kind of individuals that purport themselves to be human but are not. That is the accident, okay? Obviously, I'm upset here because it's funny how I've been going on about diabetes for the last week. More so yesterday, as I'm getting into these mulberries, right? It's all I've been thinking about is diabetes. And Tiffany Draper dies on November 30th, which was like not even 5 days ago or so, right?
That's our business.
Just as the mulberries are coming in. Is that coincidence?
Okay.
Something happened.
We'll see what happens.
Some people want to know, some people don't. I want to know. And if there needs to be justice, you can put my John Henry down on that justice paper. Okay, I'll fight for justice for Tiffany for as much as she fighted for me. How about we just leave it on that, okay?